This rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And of course, hop in the Discord, link for that's in the description box down below.
Know this, man. Hey, we're going to talk about scouting combine. The big guys finished up. As you can see, the defensive line. We'll talk about this, of course, linebackers. And then we had a new crop come in today of defensive backs, corners and safeties, and tight ends, too. So we're going to talk about that. Mr. Will McClay was there, and he had something to say about all of this. We also have some info. It kind of broke late last night while we were live and kind of trickled into today, which we're going to touch on. It's about Jerry Stephen and DAK and Mike Zimmer and the contract situation. So stay tuned. A lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, instead of Lions, Tigers, and Bears, it's linebackers, tackles, and
squares.
Something else.
Yeah, trust me, he knows
I was
tackles.
going somewhere with that.
He knows tackles, linebackers, and O-line. Those are the key three. Anyways, we'll get into all that in a minute. But let's talk about the key four people representing these boards here tonight on My Cowboys Family. Starting off with the man we give much love to, who's got 2 spots on these boards. It's the man McLovin.
Thank you so much. The sponsor of the week, back-to-back.
Like
and
our 90s Cowboys. Yeah.
representing a Cash App style 3 weeks in a row. Thank you so much, McLovin, for showing the love.
Yes, and I'm going to say this. Now, usually I wait to say everybody's names, but let me just say this once again. As of this moment, McLovin is currently the leader in the Cash App still. And McLovin is currently the leader on the overall board, coming for that sponsor of the week. So maybe a 3-peat as a sponsor week, maybe 4 in a row. Maybe he's going for more than just 3. He's going for 4 in a row for McLovin a whole month. We'll see what happens. It's hard to get to that month and beyond kind of numbers when you get into those streaks. He's got both those boards right now heading that direction. Much love to McLovin, leading overall and everything. We got Dwayne Broussard, though, the top dog, still the cash, still the stream boss here. Much love to him with 64 points, and he was down like 59. He went up 5. You know why? He put 5 on it.
Woo.
With a pre-stream drop in the super chat, $5 holler. What do you have to say, baby?
He's keeping it classic.
Yes.
But he also said quite a few good-looking prospects at the Combine today.
Yep.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. And, just take a look. This guy jumping right here into Jerry and Steven's arms. One of the biggest guys ever. And it'd be nice to have him. I've talked about him for about a month and a half already here at MCF. We'll get into that in a little bit. And don't forget, baby, we have ourselves finally a champion. And he's a damn good one. Mr. Skeptical Fan. He is the current membership gifting champ. Appreciate him.
Thank you so much, Skeptical.
After like 2 weeks of tiebreaker situation, Skeptical came through, broke the tie, and won the crown. Also currently with 4 gifted memberships for this week, trying to go back to back like our 90s Cowboys. So appreciate him there as well. You see the overall board, the pre-stream drops, the cash app, all that stuff. We have super chats, as you saw with Dwayne Broussard. You got gifted memberships you can gift and reward some of the family members in the chat with the navy blue membership. And then of course there's the thanks button, and then you can just jump in the membership on your own if you want to. I'm going to tell you how that's important here literally at the end of this week. It's going to become it's important to note membership stuff here for this week specifically, especially at the end of this week. But there's other ways of dropping the love, which kind of correlate to the Cash App side as well. McLovin's crown. What are the 4 ways they can do their thing, baby?
Well, you have it. The Cash App, $MoneySign@MyCowboysFamily. The Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family. The regular PayPal link. And, of course, that Streamlabs link shows up right on screen, just like a Super Chat does.
Yeah. So, again, appreciate everybody. No matter how you do this thing, we appreciate you all. And also, baby, we're going to shout out everybody in the star level and over everything level memberships. Remember, every night you guys run the show here, basically. But we also give a little thanks back to you guys, a little extra perks if you're in the membership, specifically, not just navy blue and silver, but if you are definitely in the at star level and over everything level memberships, you get a monthly jersey raffle, as you can see here. Cowboys Mosh, great stuff, great quality, sewn and stitched. About 40 different guys to pick from. A lot of different styles, sizes, etc., etc. But we will be, just so you guys know, not for this February raffle, which is, I know it's going to be done in March, but it's going to go for February. Starting in March, when we do at the end of the month, the end of March, we will be doing a star and over everything level membership raffle with some of the weekly winners. Someone like whoever, starting this week. So someone like McLovin or, other parts of the board, you never know. You might get put into this and get yourself a bonus monthly jersey raffle raffle entry for the monthly raffle, which is, you're getting in there if you're in the over everything or star level. But hey, people can also earn it through the top spots on the boards here. So again, like McLovin, he's been running the boards out. His is not going to count as of this point or this moment, but starting next week, it's gonna start piling in for March. So keep that in mind, and good luck to all on those sides. And now let's shout out those very special top shelf members here at MCF, the star and over everything level.
Thank you very much to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Dwayne Broussard, Lincoln Kane, Andy Potched, Mary Alvarez, Marissa Sparkle, Da Lunatic, and over everything, Seabass.
Oh yeah, he's back in the over everything level, and you'll be hearing from him soon, guys. Twice this month, twice in March. So as we move on to that, let's finish up with the shout outs, baby, and finish up there so we can get into the news, info, and the updates. I'd say on a quicker stream, but you know how this thing goes. It depends on discussions, depends on what you guys, your knowledge you drop.
Quick is relative here on My Cowboys Family.
So who's in the house, baby?
James Herr, hello and hi, what's up? Brandon J in the house, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself, C Bass, much love, Revelation journalist in the house. We have Bruce got the Toxic Juice representing. Daniel Berry Sports, thanks for being here. 1K Athlete, thanks for rolling with us. Asmodeus, you already know why he's here as well. Thanks for being here, man. Little Dallas Cowboy, what's up? Titan Anderson, hey. Repping it here, Titan. What's up? Much love. Hey, hopefully Derrick Henry can be a
Cowboy.
A Dallas Cowboy.
I discussed that a little earlier. I discussed that a little earlier with him this afternoon.
Freedom first. Unfortunately not first, but thanks for rolling with us. 24/7 Cowboy. You already know it. 366 this year.
That's right. Today's that day.
Happy Leap Day.
Yeah, guys. Hey,
everybody.
This is a bonus day this year.
I was going to say, what did everyone do with their extra 24 hours? I kind of joked, I was saying, I wish I could sleep for an extra 24 hours.
Exactly.
That would be nice.
A lot of work, though. Just a regular day.
So, let me see. Dustin Roberts, what's up? Much love. Yeah, quickies only last as long as it takes to finish. And that is a very accurate statement. Sometimes they're quick.
This weekend, I think this weekend, we had like a couple quickies. Got in a couple bang bangs, a couple quickies in there. And, knocked them out. Back to back? I think we went like an hour, 15 minutes. But now, hey, guess what, baby?
Well, those are rookie numbers.
Last night, we're going 2 hours beyond. And tonight, well, you never know. I want a 6 and beyond. We're just cracking up a little bit here in the late night.
Are we 12 years old? What the heck?
I saw my shirt. It said 1-6. Anyways.
Okay. You know what? Let's start talking football. Actual football.
I see, Dylan Roberts, Bruce, Brandon, Seabass over everything, everybody in the house, Rolando. Appreciate you all. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell if you're new. Those guys are, of course, OGs, so all good. And let's get into the NFL news portion of things. Guys, are we done seeing the chain gang in football when it comes to moving the sticks? You know those guys, the referee guys in the orange, and they're holding the orange sticks as the first down, the line of scrimmage to the first down marker, those 10 yards. The NFL has tested optical tracking in 2 stadiums so far, and in the Super Bowl last season for line to gain rulings. So when it's a close, you got to get to the line of scrimmage, you got to get to the end zone, crack that. They are now using, remember we talked about maybe a little chip in the ball, some kind of sensor, so when you cross over that. They were already tested that in a couple of stadiums and in the Super Bowl. Today, the NFL, in their, the competition committee, league officials today announced that the technology, though, is not expected to be ready for this year.
Okay,
for
so
2024.
It's still in beta testing.
Yeah, exactly. It's still going to give another. You can bet your ass going to be in some stadiums. They'll get another test run this season, and that's going to require a vote. So like I said, the Stephen Jones, competition committee, they'll be seeing this next year at this time, probably talking about this rule maybe being put in there, or not rule, but this change to the NFL old school way. It's going to be changed to something technical and new. So again, the NFL tested these optical tracking line to gain rulings. They did it at MetLife Stadium. They did it at Hard Rock Stadium, and at the Super Bowl this year in Hard Rock Stadium. That's not, which is the biggest one? The biggest Allegiant Bowl.
Allegiant?
Yeah. So those are the 3 stadiums they tested it in. They did it in games at multiple games at MetLife, multiple games at Hard Rock, and the Super Bowl. So already the testing phase has begun, right? But the chain gang part, those people that work the job of carrying those sticks from first down to first down, those people could be gone possibly as early as 2025. So again, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I mean, I know you have some thoughts, and I kind of love it because it's going to be more technical, more official, you can't go on subjective or kind of guessing situations. The NFL continues to vet other technological advances as well, including a replay system with a specialized high-resolution camera along the goal line. They all, from sideline and end line.
So basically, they're gonna have like an extra special
camera
review camera for those goal line situations.
Goal line and also sideline and end lines.
Okay.
So again, it's going to be kind of like a Skeletrack system. So I guess it's kind of like a grid. So you know exactly when it hits any line. Any line on the. So it's kind of going to be think of a grid, and you can't see. That's going to be the markers basically for the field. This system will be tracking the ball, players, and officials as well. So you get some real interesting statistics and analytics.
I was just about to say, I wonder what kind of weird stats we're going to be getting from the type of analytics you can draw from.
Know. Well, we got Mr. John. Data. We got Mr. John Park. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But again, basically, wearable smart watches with haptics to support officials has also been vetted and could be utilized this year, as soon as this year.
All right, so basically, everybody's going to get some fancy Apple Watch.
Basically, a tracking device for the games to keep up with everything, basically, which I love personally. I think it's awesome. But I know some people are like, freedom. Look, it's great. Science, analytics, it's helpful in every single way when it comes to football, and that's what I care about. And everything else, who gives a fuck? Anyways, when you look at the analytics side of things, this is like the computer, digital. This is a grid system to kind of mark everything. High resolution cameras at the goal line and at the markers and stuff like this. We got one of the best analytics teams in the league to use this information, interpret it, and then spit it back out. Whatever happens to McCarthy, it don't matter. We got John Park running the show, and John Park, who, by the way, I must say, we did see him at the Star, the family this past, before that Rams game. He was there with his family. They had a family day for the Cowboys players and coaches, and they had to take your family to work day. So they all came in, and we saw John Park and his family. I'm like, keep up that good work. It all started against that Rams game, by the way. When they got I think the analytics department got started so late about that Rams game, week 6, what was it, week 8? That's when week 7, I think that's when we really got that analytics team flowing in the right direction on offense. Anyways, let me get back to the point. John Park today shouting out William Britt, who's one of the guys we also hired, an upstart analytics guy, highly desired from multiple teams, came to the Cowboys last year with John Park, John Park hire. And William Britt, he represents the Cowboys for the portion of the department is strategic football operations department. That's his position, I guess you could say. And again, he went to recently, I think he's going to it tomorrow, his first MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference. So he will be representing not the Cowboys, more the analytics world, right? He said today, William Britt, quote, excited to head to Boston this weekend for my first MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference. If you're going to be in town, shoot me a message. I'd love to connect. So, hey, if you're up there in Boston, check it out. But either way, William Britt and John Park, they're on the cusp here of all the analytics stuff that obviously is going to become, whether you like it or you don't like it, you like the old school way, great. But it don't matter because everything's going forward. And as long as we have the up-to-date kind of best guys in the analytics room, I feel good about that going forward, at least on that side of things. I can't speak about the ownership.
You can't really move backwards when it comes to technology, but I also don't think you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. What happens the day that sensor fucks up or a football hits it the wrong way, and next thing you know, we have no way of and I feel like even if it's just for the visual of the game and the experience, I still think it's worthy to maybe have like a transitional period where, the sensors are doing all the work, but maybe let's back that up by moving the chains type of thing. And also moving the chains. Like, are you going to be moving the sensor?
Just
like,
just
I hate
the
to
first
be that
down.
person. I know.
The thing is this, here's what I was saying about that, and I agree with you. That's a good point you brought up as far as what if something goes out? With sensor breaks, you need
just
human.
Say, like, even if it's just like a symbolic moving on the sideline of keeping up with humans, first down markers and things like that. I just don't think we should completely remove that element from it. But it does seem pretty much inevitable the way that the game is headed. So,
well, let me give my 2 cents really, really quick. I promise it'll be quick, but I'm going to put up a very important person in this who represents the people that will love this. That's Jerry Jones. You know why? Obviously. Because it saves them money. They don't have to, listen, they have a sensor system now. They paid money for. They don't need to have more people working the sidelines paying. And that's Jerry, the NFL, Goodell. Mm-hmm. So that's going to make these jobs expendable, unfortunately. But I'm with you on that realism. And that to me, it's also nostalgic, kind of seeing the guys on the sideline moving the actual orange sticks down the field. But I also think there's another big reason for that. And that is, to me, it's going to be more something like for the fans. Not for the experience, but more for knowing where the hell the ball is, like the first down is. You're not going to see that. Maybe on TV you'll see it, or maybe when they watch the replays they'll have the sensors to read it, but you're not going to see those sensors from the stands. You're paying money for it. You know where the first down is? I'm sure they'll have a little orange marker or on the floor or something, but I prefer to have big orange sticks up in the air. You can see it, So I don't know. That's kind of where I think it's more for the fans that are there to be able to see where the first downs are. Where the line of scrimmage is, where the 10-yard span is. Because the sensor is not, you'll see it on TV, you might see it on the replays, but you're not going to see it when you're live at the game. So
I know.
I agree with you, you got to keep it both. I think keep them both in there.
Like, it's very easy for us sitting at home to say it that way. You really, you still need some in-person way of keeping up with that. And unless they're going to start having lights on, light up on the floor of the stadiums or things like that.
And again, like you said, this shit's going to fuck up sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
at least in the early days, I imagine there's probably going to be some trouble.
But even one day in the future might, still be an issue here and there. Yeah. You can't afford to stop the game because the sensor's out. So you need to have human people in there and ready to roll just in case. I don't know. What is the chat thing? It's kind of a new thing here. So Jerry Jones won't let it happen. He wants to save them money.
Seabass saying, imagine a new stadium where there's sensors in the ball and the turf and forward progress each hash illuminates and a score end zone lights up. It's irrefutable technology. AWS talks about it, and it's so dope.
I agree.
Bruce said, instead of moving the chains, we're going to move the laser.
Move the sensor, move the laser. I agree, though, with Seabass. Over everything. No, I agree with him. You know why? Because that's so futuristic in my mind. I feel almost like NFL Blitz or some of these futuristic video games we used to have that show football. Like as it was lining up down the field. We're
talking about football in the year 3000.
Yeah. But hey, it's true. If this stuff keeps going this way, you might see a rehash of stadiums and the way things are run in 20, 30 years. We'll be seeing the light up version of football. And on a football field, you can fall on, not going to break, and you can see it for the field, for the fans, for the TV, and everyone can see it. And there's not going to be any mistakes. But you have some OGs who can be like, we want that dirt and that grass and that. Yeah. You got to flow with the technology. Now, we're the old geezers, right? Anyways.
Back in my day, they used to play with leather helmets.
It's interesting to think about. I love to start off with that story because that's very interesting where this league is going, and we all kind of wanted that to go this way. Now we're gonna sometimes get always a little more than you want, but it is what it is. I'm looking forward to see where it goes.
By the way, Swearingen said that he meant to say "What up, you butt," but instead he said "What, you buttholes." So I guess take that however you want. What's up, Swearingen?
What's up, butthole?
I'm just messing with you a little bit there. Mike Cardana said it. We are slaves to our own creations. Yep. Like I said, we're not going to be moving backwards when it comes to technology. And realistically speaking, we know that the NFL tends to be at the forefront of, developing and innovating new technologies or even just new medical breakthroughs as these men fall apart and doctors find new and interesting ways to put them back together.
Well, hey, I'm just saying, like, this is more about money saving. And I love the accuracy part. I don't like the money saving part for the Joneses in that way. It's not saving money for the good guys. You're taking away money from the good guys on this in a way. So, anyways,
by the way, Rolando Rodriguez, I am actually a fan of the Nickelodeon games. Mr. MCF hates them. I think it's fun.
I don't hate them. I just
not a fan. I'm a fan.
There you
go. We'll leave it shortly at that. That's all. So. Oh, Seabass is also saying bring back the Arena Football League. Honestly, I'm still surprised that there isn't more of a push to have some kind of minor NFL league. But with college football, I understand.
Well,
so
I will say something here, baby, and I'm going to say it loud for the man staying skeptical fan. He just dropped a $2 holler in the cash
skeptical
app,
fan.
And he said the pie is a lie. Go Cowboys. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
The pie is definitely a lie. I feel like we need to do some kind of like a
reboot,
cowboy bingo or something, because we had a lot of the same old comments there by Stephen Jones. He repeated a lot of words.
That was yesterday. We went through it in detail, combed
Pioneer
through it.
said, by the way, in the future,
Much love,
the fields
skeptical.
are going to be like the Sphere in Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to look like that. Yeah, it's going to look constantly changing and sensors, and I'm looking forward to it. That's me, I know. But I'm also kind of scared to see what it could look like.
I admit it makes me feel like an 80-year-old grandma. But thank you again, Skeptical fan, by the way.
Yes, just wanted to throw him up there again. $2 holler. Go Cowboys. And again,
always go Cowboys.
You know what he said, of course, the pie is a lie. We know this. We're going to dig into this now a little bit more. But before we get there, let me quickly touch on one or two last things of the NFL. Like, if you look at our shorts, not our pants shorts, but like our shorts here on YouTube, you'll see a crazy video. 46-year-old Tom Brady beating a 22-year-old Tom Brady in the 40-yard dash. Tom Brady's 40-yard dash at age 22.
You know what? It makes sense, though.
Well,
this before you say anything else. I'm just saying.
Right,
like, we know that Tom Brady turned into like a super health nut after he married and met Giselle and stuff like that. Like, and we know that Tom Brady coming into the NFL was basically just like some random schlub.
He was schlubby. He ran very poorly.
It is not completely crazy, Plus, he also has money and access to all sorts of fancy supplements and other things.
Not only that, but he has his own. He works out, a regimen, a workout, eats healthy, and also, he in the NFL, every year you get. He's probably in those. That's 24 years of that's more than 22 years. He was 22. 24 years later, he's had like a higher level of everything: food, health, the ability to work out, and he's done that every single year, right? Yeah. So, or I guess -1, I guess 23 years. This last year he's out of it, and still keeping up with training, keeping up with eating healthy, and look at him. Just saying, this is amazing. Not that he's still fast. He ran the 40 at age 22, 5.28 seconds. His 40-yard dash at age 46, 5.12 seconds. He actually did better, which is eyebrow raising. That never happens. Like, I don't know if that ever happened in the history of humanity.
If he was in the NFL, he began that CeeDee Lamb piss test in his locker room the second he was done running that.
That's a great point. That's crazy. So check out the video. They show him side by side, and you can make your decision. But man, he beats him out. He squeaks him out by just a hair. Nonetheless, impressive. Now, back to the current NFL situation, because Brady's been gone. Vikings today, and this is interesting for the Cowboys. You look at running backs, another option, another guy to throw into the mix. Running back from the Vikings, and again, I say Zimmer, although I don't know if Zimmer overlapped with this guy, Alexander Mattison. He was released today, basically, by the Minnesota Vikings. Madison took over last year for Dalvin Cook. He ran for 700 yards, caught 30 passes.
Okay.
Now he becomes a free agent like last year when he signed a 2-year deal with Minnesota. So they let him go, and he took the hit, done. and he's a free agent. And he can get signed today if he wanted to. Right now, he's been released. He's still available to be signed into next season. He doesn't have to wait till March 13th.
Okay.
Or March 11th to talk to teams. March 13th till it's official. But either way, guys, so Alexander Madison from the Vikings, running back. He's kind of always been the 1-2 punch with Dalvin Cook. Took over last year, didn't do much. Kind of reminds me of Tony Pollard. My only thing is, if you could add two guys like this together for like $6 million, that's worth it, you know? So just when you can throw him in a mix with somebody else he can be the number 2 for.
Yeah, who can help round him out, so to speak.
Derrick Henry as the number 1, going with some Alexander Madison. I'm just saying that is a good 1-2 punch that's going to cost you maybe, again, I know Titan Anderson said no way $4.5 million you're going to get him that cheap. That's the first, pop right now, Sport Track and OTC. That's what they're saying he's going for right now. So just saying.
Plus, the running back market has been extra weird. So we're not saying it's completely out of the realm of possibility, especially with the way that the free agent running back situation seems to be trending.
I'm going to use Tony Pollard as an example. I mean, and what's his name, Barkley and Jacobs and Eckler and all the other running backs out there that did not get franchise tagged. No one's going to pay Tony Pollard $10, $11, $12 million. No one's going to pay that to Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs. That's the point. So if those top guys, Barkley and Jacobs, if those guys are going to hit at maybe $8 million, maybe $9 million, Derrick Henry is in the below Tony Pollard category. Pollard's going to be $7 million, $6 million possibly, maybe less. Some people are saying Derrick Henry's going to be right below that. So $5 million for Henry, $2 million, $3 million for Alexander Madison at most, not even that much.
Right.
I'm just saying, guys, that is a good 1-2 punch. It's an upgrade from last year. Or even if you keep Pollard as a number 2 to someone like Henry, that's a good 1-2 punch, right? Mm-hmm. We can work that in. The only thing I'm saying is I'm not paying that much for a running back. You know why?
Why?
Because in this scheme right now with McCarthy, a 1-year situation, he's still not going to use the running back as much as you think. Doesn't matter if we have.
So you still feel like it would be overpaying just based on usage?
No, only for the right price. I'm not going to get a good. I don't care if they're the best running back in the world. If he's going to be $8 million or more, I ain't looking at him. 6, 5. You got to be great to be 6. I mean, for me to think in my mind, I'm going to give $6 million to a running back.
All right.
So to me, it's going to have to be a deal given for 1 year kind of thing. So 1 year help for us, like Derrick Henry, a 1 year, bounce off to another team for him. It's going to be something he can rejuvenate his career with a good team, with a better offensive line that he had in Tennessee. It makes sense to some of these guys to take a little bit less, even with the running back market, to get a little bit more in the future with a better situation around them.
I agree.
So I'm just throwing it out there. But Pollard seems checked out from the Cowboys. We talked about him not even know about Quinn being gone. So, but again, just throwing out names. Madison is from the Zimmer mindset. He still talks to people in Minnesota. So he knows about Madison if he's worth it. And then you got, Derrick Henry, like we said with Titan Anderson. I mean, I'm a big fan of him for $4.5 million. Yeah, look, $5 million at most, but $4.5 or less.
Derrick Henry has been kind of a favorite amongst Cowboy fans.
Not
let's bring him in for a reasonable price.
Well, not me, because that's the thing. When they wanted to trade for him, I was a no-go on that unless it's a very cheap deal. We're not paying him that money.
I was just about to say, trading for Derrick Henry is a very different situation than, hey, let's grab him now in free agency. I'm all about grabbing him now in free agency, but I was definitely with you on the whole, let's not even bother to trade for him.
I mean, a lot of you guys are right now saying, see, we said Derrick Henry back then. I wasn't. And I'm still saying I wouldn't. If we were trading for him, I would hell no do that. Give up a draft capital for a guy who's going to be overcharging you. We're going to get back in a Zeke situation. Fuck that. And I say Zeke as in money-wise, not in ability-wise. Because I think the short yardage Zeke or Derrick Henry can help us. Just not going to pay $6 million for that. Not in this day and age of running backs.
Yeah.
And not in our McCarthy scheme. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'll get anybody for the right price. I'll get Barkley 4.5, but we know that's not going. He's going to go for 7, 8, 9 million. Just saying, that's the way it's going to be.
I know, but even I agree that it seems a little silly to spend $4.5 million on a guy that is more banged up than the other guy you could spend $4.5 million on.
No,
when you're talking about production or ability or
staying on the field and all that. Yeah, I mean,
just saying.
Any quick thoughts on the chat on this?
So let me see. By the way, Seabass is saying I agree. If it's not a situation where Pollard goes back to being a number 2 behind Henry, then he can go.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it'd be like behind Zeke. That you can use him properly, more balanced. We barely used Pollard when we had Zeke there. That was the issue. He had balanced them better. Zeke and Pollard would have been a greater 1-2 punch than they already were.
Yeah. So, by the way, Chuck to Montana 808 saying, I don't want Pollard, period. I was alive when the fans hyped Buddy up.
Huh. Well, again, that's the thing. When it came to Pollard, I mean, that was the question. Could he handle a whole season of being a number one? And we'd barely used him for that. He got over 1,000, but
the answer
it's
is
just a little different. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Nobody really feels comfortable with him in multiple scenarios where Zeke was the workhorse there. Even in his least productive seasons, he still was producing touchdowns, short yardage first downs.
Yeah.
And Henry will give you that. So Henry, Madison, there you go, 1-2 punch. If the for under like $6 million total, you can squeeze that in. Trust me. So that's what we should probably be working with. And even that's not going to get used that much in McCarthy's offense. The one thing it will change is someone like Zeke or someone like Henry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, they're going to get those touchdowns when we're at the 1 yard line. We're not going to be throwing cute shit to Pollard at the 1 inch line and fall short. Or Schoonmaker with that bullshit. We're just going to pound it in with Henry.
This is all contingent on the fact that McCarthy remembers we have a running back that can and should be getting those situations. The only thing that makes me hopeful is how many times we saw Tony Pollard try and fail in those situations. Like,
I agree.
Anyway.
Yeah, no,
I know.
That's the
that
reason
seems like
why.
A bitchy statement to say.
Well, no, but that's exactly why you need someone
wrong.
like. That's exactly why you need someone still not like Zeke, not for $8 million, but for a lot less, right? And you're not using Zeke as a full-time running back. The Cowboys front office broke this guy down, unfortunately, and broke him down to he can't really play to his true potential. What it would have been if he had been bounced properly, and he wasn't. So we can't go back in time. But someone like Zeke would give us first downs easier, and of course goal line stuff easier. Things decided by the coach, decided by the by the offensive line blocking.
I was just about to say, let's be real. Yeah. This is a big factor in one of the things that Marco Seppian loves to say all the time. The Cowboys overhyping their own players.
Yep.
We
did it again with that.
Definitely,
with Pollard.
Overexpected things from Tony Pollard. Simplest way I can explain that.
And
our front office really banked on that too.
Yeah. Some good discussion. Appreciate everybody in the house. Don't forget to hit that like button right now for the stream. It helps the analytics in a big way. Subscribe to the channel. Keep it growing. Keep it flowing. And, of course, hit that bell so you know we're going live. Mm-hmm. You got to put it on to all videos. If you want to know whenever we're going live, of course, you can also do our social media stuff, all at MyCowboysFamily, Twitter, X.
Yeah, we always post it before we go live.
Yeah, exactly. Just in case the YouTube site sometimes fails. So that's another backup way. That was a little commercial break. Sponsor of the week, McLovin. 2 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row is the Cash App King for McLovin. The top dog, Dwayne Broussard, 64 points in the stream boss. Much love to him. And, of course, Skeptical Fan, the man. Always staying skeptical. He not only is the membership gifting king, he's also the leader, once again, trying to go back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Now, let me go back to the offense and go to the quarterback spot. This was not about Dak, though, this moment. It's about Trey Lance. Now, we talked about his fifth-year option. It's going to be $22 million plus. Trey Lance ain't getting that from the Cowboys. There's no fifth-year security here. We'll sign him for $5 million if he's that good. But right now, this year, he's about $5.25 million, if I were $5.31 million.
All right.
And the Cowboys are picking up his roster bonus, which means he's securing his spot with the Cowboys. Number one, he's not getting.
I would say good for him.
Yeah, he's not getting cut, and it looks like he ain't gonna get traded either because we have to pay that. And
for some of you guys who were hoping for like some crazy last minute trade move there,
it looks
to make
like
something happen with Trey Lance. Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
It looks like. Because of this move here, the Cowboys are picking up his $4.25 million roster bonus, which is due 5 days after training camp starts in July. This is, again, inside info, brought to you by the Dallas Morning News, by the way. So they've confirmed this with one of their people. But out of his, again, it's going to basically push his total compensation for 2024 to the expected $5.31 million. So Trey Lance, moving on up now as the number 2, it seems, over Cooper Rush, who's getting about, I'll tell you about Cooper in a minute. But Cooper Rush, we cut him. We get about $2.5 million back. So, is it worth it? It's going to be some questions about Cooper Rush, but Trey Lance, he's staying. That's what it looks like right now at this point. According to team officials behind the scenes, they did not consider cutting Trey Lance, and they swear he's made tremendous strides. It means, I say they, it means Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Mike McCarthy. McCarthy's probably the one that best speak about this, because he's the quarterback whisperer. Now, what's not happening, like I'm re-stressing, we talked about it the other day, is picking up his 5th-year option for 2025. If we did that, him being a 3rd-round pick, his cap hit would be $22.4 million. So that's not happening, and that's from inside the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys have 5 days until after the draft in April to make that decision official. But you're hearing it now from me. It's official. It ain't going to happen. So the Cowboys are not going to pick up that 5th-year option. This is according to people inside the Star, all right? And given the pending contract extension for our guy here, we're going to talk about him in a minute, Dak Prescott, and new money is going to have to be pushed to that 2025 salary cap. Assuming we get a deal with him, we're going to have a cheap year this year with Dak comparatively, but next year it's going to be a lot bigger hit. So if you look at that, along with the expected deals with CeeDee Lamb this year, makes more money, pushes money forward for next year though. Same thing with Micah Parsons. Same this year. We had a little bit more money this year for Micah if we get an extension, but next year it's going to be a bigger hit year. So these big hits are hitting next year. I don't think we're going to take the hit of Trey Lance for $22 million plus. So there you go, guys. It just basically solidifies Dak's backup battle, which is between Cooper Rush and Trey Lance right now. Now, I am hearing that Cooper Rush is still kind of liked by the coaching staff because they know what they got with him.
All right. I mean,
So
again, not
he still may
overall
stay.
surprising.
It may be worth, some of you guys have made that point too, it may be worth keeping Cooper Rush just in case as that another backup quarterback there, as the pseudo number 2 as Trey Lance gets to surpass him.
Again, if McCarthy was going to be guaranteed more years here in Dallas, I could see them maybe trying to go in a different direction, setting something up. But considering McCarthy's also on his last year, I don't think messing with the quarterback room is something he wants to spend too much time with. He just wants to know what he's got so he can roll with it. That's my thought.
Yeah. I hear you. That's another great point by MCW. So now as we look at the contract, and that's what the front picture here, you can see Joneses, all right, at the bottom right there, and Dak with a pile of money in front of him. Kind of looking a little bit nervous. What's going on? You see the title. You're saying, what's going on with Dak? So let me start off, even though this is kind of going to be Dak, mainly Dak info here, let's start off with a guy who was actually just signed to the coaching staff, and that's Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator. All right? Him and the multiple other, Coach Z, Zagonina, and Gunther, and Greg Ellis.
Yeah.
These 4 guys, those 3 guys, and Zimmer.
So all the coaches we just brought in.
These are the new coaches, defensive coordinator, position coaches, assistant coaches. These guys we brought in, guys, all have a 1-year deal with the Cowboys. We don't know the numbers yet, but we know that Zimmer's contract is only for 1 year. We were talking about maybe it's 2 or 3 or who knows now. He was fighting for that.
One.
Yeah, he was maybe fighting for more. No. Guys, the Cowboys, number one, they're not playing for a season. They're not playing for a season to have their entire coaching staff and franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott, to be in their final year of their contracts. But that scenario is a very good possibility. Now, Mike McCarthy and his assistants, most who are, at the NFL scouting combine right now, I'm talking about all the guys he brought in with him. I'm talking about the new guy. Forget the new guys. All his guys. Under a 1-year deal. Not under 1 year. They're still their deals are expiring with McCarthy's. All these contracts are ending at the same time as McCarthy's. So when you look at that, and then you look at the new assistants that were hired on defense, you look at defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, and the other recent hires are all under 1-year contracts.
Okay.
So that's important to note there. This is an all or nothing kind of deal here. This is going to be a whole new coaching team next year.
That impression.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt.
It's hard
now,
to take it any other way.
That's why it's not like they're looking at Zimmer for the coach next year as the head coach of the Cowboys.
Okay.
That's what it tells me. It tells me Zimmer is trying to go for all in here with they all got to go all in, the coaching staff, and I don't mind
that.
that.
Or at least if they are considering him, it's definitely on a very prove it type of basis.
Oh yeah,
right?
it's a very 1-year deal kind of thing, right? So. Yeah, I agree. So this has been confirmed, by the way, by 2 people with the organization. Yeah. Details of these agreements were not previously reported. So we don't know how much they get paid, but we also didn't know it was a 1-year deal until now. So that's important to note. Now, on top of the coaching situation, we got to kind of switch gears because there's also issues, according to these same sources. And I'm thinking these sources, I don't know why, but I'm thinking these 2 sources, they keep saying 2 sources.
You think they're the same 2
I think it's these 2 motherfuckers.
Ha ha ha.
So, I don't know. To me,
I've never seen these two gentlemen a day before in my life.
look, the point is, the Cowboys, according to these two sources, there's still some resulting discomfort. Yeah, that's the wording that was used here. Some discomfort, basically, here. And unhappiness within the star and the organization. Now it's one person close to the situation.
But like in relation to what specifically?
Yeah, they said that the sentiment extends deeper than just the coaches,
Okay.
adding that there's a little sense of commitment. That little sense of commitment is felt elsewhere on this team, not just the coaching staff. So I don't know who that person speaking is, or who's getting that thought, or thoughts. Maybe it's this guy. I don't know. But the point is, a person close to this situation told the Dallas Morning News on Wednesday evening that the team has not ruled out Dak Prescott to being signed in this offseason, extended.
All right.
Which is something that we expected. This is the Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. They've been saying they're going to extend Dak. They love it, right? High-ranking members of the Cowboys have expressed confidence in Dak. We've talked about this with Jerry. We talked about it with Stephen Jones yesterday, or 2 days ago, said, quote, "Our whole thing with Dak is him being a Cowboy. That's all that's on our mind." They're telling you they're signing him, but yet, it's still this talk going on. There's dissension in the building about some people, some of the players maybe not having their commitment valuing the situation for the Cowboys going forward.
We know you're engaged. Like, when's the wedding date, and why do you keep pushing it off?
So again, if Dak ends up playing this year in 2024, and it happens to be a contract year, according to these insiders, multiple Cowboy officials said that it would not. I'm sorry, that would be entirely coincidental. That's the quote. So it would be a coincidence if Dak plays his last year on this, contract year with no extension, right? With no look going forward. So it's not, again, I guess it is not part of a bigger decision from the coaching, from the Cowboys side, to have contracts for the coaches and the starting quarterback scheduled to be up after a season. And I think that goes not just for the Cowboys, but anybody. And then usually teams don't set it up, but their quarterback and the coaches are all expiring their contracts, so to speak, in the same contract year. This is a contract year for everyone right now.
Exactly.
So an extension happening this year is expected.
Now,
But
okay, go ahead.
But hold on. But here's my point. According to Michael Gelkin and his sources, an extension happening this year is far from given. It's far from, for sure, it's far from a given thing. So what do I mean by this? Let me explain.
I was just about to ask I'm just saying, because I have a feeling you're about to answer my question. We just talked about it throughout the offseason. Like, don't the Cowboys kind of have to do something with Dak's contract to not screw themselves over financially speaking? Like, can we afford to basically just sit here and do nothing with Dak's contract?
Well, again, it's going to be a $60 million hit. That's a big one there.
Okay.
So, but not really, because you can restructure. And that's something that I've talked about here as another option for the Cowboys, to restructure and take about, you say about $20 million. Or $25 million instead of $35 million or whatever it is if you give them an extension. So for the $10 million, you can take that $10 million hit and just pay some dead money going forward. I think you could move into a third void year, so you have 3 years of avoidable money pushing forward. And the Cowboys, again, according to these sources inside the building, they're saying, I just feel, guys, I don't mean to be a dick about this, about keep bringing it up, but I truly do feel, I have this feeling inside of me that their sources are coming from the top two guys. Anything they want out there, they're letting out there. And they let it out through to Michael Gelkin, who basically said that the Cowboys believe, someone up in there, one or two people in the front office, believe that there's some pros over cons in waiting until early next year, like this time right now, to sign Dak Prescott to an extension. Now, what do I mean by that? Listen, number one, you cannot give Dak a franchise tag. It's written in the contract. No franchise tag allowed on Dak. So you can't even wait the next year and then tag him. That's not possible. But the NFL salary cap, as we've been telling you here at MCF for the last 5 years, since the cap stuff kind of became relevant to the Cowboys, I've been telling you it's going to go crazy through the roof. Yes, we got to pay a little more on some.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like Monopoly money.
Yeah, but we got to pay a little bit more on some contract, on some players, and everyone's going to want a little more money. Yeah, that's the way it works. But we're going to get the Cowboys and every team. We're going to get a lot more money on the cap going forward. You can absorb these hits. So I'm not saying it's going to be great and hunky dory. We're going to be able to spend money crazy. But the point is the Cowboys now can kind of do an all-in this year and still be able to absorb a lot of the negative. So the point I'm trying to say is this. All right. And here's the way the Cowboys maybe are seeing it from inside their building there. With the NFL salary cap going to burst again next season. And guys, this year is what? $30+ million, I think it was. Yeah, $30 million plus on top. It was actually an extra like 13 than they expected. So next year, I'm thinking 40, 50 million on the cap. You're going to be, getting close to maybe over 300 million on the cap next year. The Cowboys may be banking on that to get some of this money pushed into that. Because here's the thing, guys. With the cap expected to jump next year in the same dramatic way it did this year, there's a thought right now that DAK's extension waiting an extra year would be more. It would hurt. If we were to extend them now, it would hurt next year's cap more than making a deal in 2025, whatever the issue may be from 20. We got to pay an extra $2 million. Now he's $62 million. So the Cowboys rather pay $62 million and hurt the cap less for next year than do the deal now, pay $2 million less a year, but hurt the cap next year a lot more. That means that we're limping this year too a little bit. Now, it feels like we're going to limp, right? But here's the catch. Two people familiar with the team's thinking, no names mentioned, but I'm showing you who I think it is. They're saying that they consider these in-person meetings with, basically with DAK's agent, so to speak, unnecessary. They don't need to talk with him. This sounds like Stephen Jones to me.
How are deals supposed to get done? Through telekinesis?
These two people, I'm putting this in quotes, air quotes right now, two people familiar with the Cowboys thinking says that it considers these in-person meetings unnecessary to advance contract-related talks.
I guess the contracts just move themselves.
They cite, I'm waiting to hear deadlines make deals. It's like, whoops, oh, no, don't print that.
Apparently deals make deals.
So basically, people that are, right now close to this situation, familiar with the situation, is saying that the Cowboys, that these two people inside the Cowboys front office, wherever this may be, are basically saying that they're familiar with the agents already. So they don't have to really have these talks. That's what it sounds like a Stephen Jones move there. It is possible that DAK does spend this season here in 2024 as a contract year and does not get an extension. And he won't be alone, of course, with the coaching staff. Everybody basically on the coaching staff, 1 year deals or 1 year left on their deal. So is this a coincidence? According to the Cowboys, it's just a coincidence. But it wasn't planned this way. But right now, the Cowboys may want to wait till next year. And you heard the mindset. I want to ask your opinion on this in a minute, but I will say this. Another person close to Dak Prescott's camp said to the Daily Morning News, again, same people, the Gelkin sources basically, I think it was Calvin Watkins on this one, if the Cowboys wait till next season to secure a new deal, it would work in the quarterback's favor. That's a quote from a person close to Dak Prescott's side of things. And again, this is how it always goes from the Cowboy front office. Cowboys get everything, lose all leverage on everything when it comes to Dak, the original deal. See all the mistakes they made in that to get Dak the way they signed him. It was a stupid kind of way of the Cowboys going about it. No leverage, all that stuff. Now, a Dak extension at $60 million is going to probably happen. I'm just going to tell you that. If it doesn't happen, it's going to be the Cowboys will lose. I can't believe there's even more leverage that the Cowboys can lose. But they would lose more leverage. Dak can hold up on more.
It almost doesn't seem possible, but apparently it is.
They would lose more leverage. What do you think?
I know you need to take a quick second, which is perfect because now
you can. I want you to break down what you think about that.
So, first of all, let's start off by stating the obvious. Yeah, of course, waiting to sign Dak benefits Dak. Right? We've been saying it for the last however many years. Every single year you wait, the money goes up the cap goes up, but so does, again, the amount of money that you have to pay the player. So, and realistically speaking, you know, if you want to go at it from just a pure, simple football mindset, when you have a player who's playing on a contract year, those players usually, more often than not, tend to play better. So you're basically looking at Dak and saying, Dak, we're giving you the Cowboys equivalent of a big contract year. Would you like to earn more money and play really well? And if the history is anything to go by, Dak is probably going to have a knockdown, drag out, fantastic regular season. So it's going to be very hard for the Joneses to sit there and turn around and say, hey, Dak, by the way, we actually feel like you're not going to be worth as much as you maybe think you are. So I know that it might mean a little bit more slight long-term pain, but if we're going to end up in the same exact spot, which is extending or keeping Dak Prescott here longer, then man, please don't be stupid and just pay the money now. I would much rather hurt now in that sense. And although in this case, I guess Mr. MCF pointed out, it's actually the opposite, right? By letting Dak play on this final contract year, we are actually hurting ourselves now a little bit more to maybe save in the future. But like I said, it feels like pain either way. So, and I do want to make something clear, right? It's not like somehow like waiting it out is going to make it so Dak doesn't have a no trade clause or doesn't have all of these other kind of factors that affect his contract. Guys, he is a top 15 quarterback no matter which way you slice it, which means these are going to be in his contract and you can't just trade him away and you can't just tag him. So I don't know. It feels like we're falling into the same pit trap that we did way back in our first Dak contract years. But to play devil's advocate to what I feel like is the correct decision, if the Cowboys are looking for some kind of exit strategy to Dak, this is basically your only realistic point, right? Like the only chance to jump ship is now. And it's not going to happen necessarily in like one swift move. It is going to be a transitional thing. So we would have to take the hit a little bit more this year. It does mean that for the next year or two, we can basically make a decision to move on from Dak in a way that won't hurt us as badly as it could have. But I want to make it clear, moving on from Dak in any scenario means pain. Means paying a lot of shitty money for someone who's not going to play for us. Anyway, I feel like I've ranted long enough there. But I'm oddly surprised. Overall, the stupidest comment, though. Sorry, it makes me laugh just sitting here thinking about it. Can someone explain to me with like using really small words how a contract or how a deal gets done without talking to the other side and their representative? Just throwing that out there because that seems like a pretty necessary fucking component of getting a deal done. Just throwing that out there. So you let me know how many deals you've gotten done by just sitting there staring very intensely across the room. Because, like, that's how I picture it. I picture it's just, like, Steven and Jerry on one side of the desk, Dak's agent on the other side. They're just staring at each other. No one talks. Anyway, let me hit up the chat now, right? They're just not even texting, though. He said, like, they're not communicating. There's no talking. There's nothing.
Okay,
just loving stares.
No need to discuss anything with these guys because they know how it. They know the agent already. Yeah,
anyway, so like I said, let me go ahead. Hit up the chat and see what you guys have to say, right? So Mike Aldana said, I'm just going to sit back and watch the shit show go down in flames, right? Demetrius Alexander said, if Jerry dies and Steven is still here, are we still, we're still going to have to find a new team. No,
it may be worse.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just going to be the new version of the Cowboys, and I'm not sure how to feel about that just yet. So Matt Batten said, we need money for great players unless you pay Dak. Few guys, nobody else. Huh. So.
Well, the thing is, even when we have the money, the Cowboys won't spend it. They will still give you the pie lie.
Yeah, Seabass said, Jerry don't care about the money, clearly. Mike Aldana saying, if Steven wants to bite the bullet on Dak's contract, then so be it. Brandon J saying, Patrick Mahomes signed a 10-year deal. And according to the contract, he's only earning about an average of $45 million a season
he's at
until
45.
2031.
Yep. So and his outs of that too. So
Chalk to Montana away said, well, that means we're going 4-13 yearly.
exactly.
Jay
Listen,
Duncan said the Clowns.
I'm going to say it like this, and this is the final part of this. I think when you go say you're going to be going all in, Brian Broda said this. We've said this. Of course, that we don't believe it's actually ever going to be an all in, but I'm going to hold him to what he said, right? Brian Broda said this about the all in, quote, "The Cowboys' level of desperation is not there. It's just not. There's other general managers that are far more aggressive because they know that they're not long for the job, meaning you're going to get fired if you fuck up. Jerry don't have to worry about that. He just needs to make money. He thinks making money is winning. He don't realize that it's about winning." And some fans want to take less. Like Dak is gonna like by Dak giving $20 million, taking $50 million instead of $60. It means that $10 million is gonna go to help the team, guys. That's Jerry's look at that as saved money, not as money for the team. That's saved money for Micah's contract.
Exactly.
Another bullshit reasoning by the clown show. So that's my thing, guys.
Hunger is truly the best spice, and let's be real. The Jones family has not wanted for a meal in a very long time. Jerry does not have the same kind of drive or hunger or kind of desire into this. And he's the owner. Obviously, he has his own desires and motivations. So I'm not saying that, but I'm talking from a GM perspective, right? That same energy isn't there. The same reason that guys play harder on a contract year, right? That same pressure, we will never get that for Steven and Jerry Jones because they, again,
guarantee their jobs.
They can't fire themselves.
Right.
They could, but they won't.
I mean, and that's the thing. And I know, listen, here's the thing I'm gonna kind of say when it comes to the all-in. We know it's what I see you guys saying that it's just a headliner. Of course, we know as the media took that, put it in the headlines. But Jerry Jones said it. We're gonna go all in. We're gonna do it differently. Mike McCarthy said it. Stephen Jones said it. So it's gonna be different. But what does that really mean? And that's all I'm saying. It's gonna be different, but it's not really all in. And
what does it mean?
Guaranteeing no security beyond this season for your head coach and the staff. We just discussed how everyone's contracts are up. Possibly your quarterback as well. It's truly an interesting kind of angle for saying I'm going all in. It's probably more make or break than all in. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah,
so,
all in really on the pressure, right?
They definitely are on pressure now.
It's
but
going to be an interesting
it's an all
energy
in
as well in the building as far as if everyone's feeling that same pressure, I wonder if we're going to see maybe more fights.
But with Dak here, without Dak here, with McCarthy here, with McCarthy not here, guess what? Guess what, baby? It won't change a thing because the Joneses are still here. The reason I say that, just take a look what's going on at this. We're going to talk about the Combine. Okay. At the Combine, the Cowboys have fewer scheduled meetings with agents than in years past. So all in, and we're not even looking at the. Maybe we're looking at not care about the draft. Maybe because of less draft picks. I don't know, but there's
to play the world's smallest devil's advocate. We have not that many draft picks.
I agree, but I'm trying to say this: there's no hint that they're on the excursion here of a high-priced free agency flurry.
Okay.
That would resemble an all-in situation buzzword, right?
So basically, it's not like we're compensating for the lack of draft situations with we're not putting that extra energy into free agency. We're just kind of
doing the usual. And it's been happening, guys. I mean, again, I want to make sure I stress this, and I think I'm going to say it a little later. The Cowboys kind of do their things here, but there's not really the way the Cowboys are kind of going into this scouting combine, and a lot of people have their agents there talking, and they're not scheduled with any speaking with any agents as well, like anybody. Like they are not there to talk to anybody about deals. They're just there to scout the games.
I have to be real. This is the least involved I've ever heard of our Cowboys being.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, if this is their version of all in, it is very interesting that they consider this more all in than them actively talking to, agents and players and coaches and scouts.
And again, we're not talking about these rookies necessarily here. We're talking about other agents from players, like Dak's agent. That's why I included
Tony
the whole
Pollard's
list.
Agents, players, rookies, scouts.
A lot of these guys are there for at the combine with they might represent a player on the field or going to represent, you know what I'm saying? But they also represent Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? So they're all there. The Joneses are not going to meet with anybody. They're like, nah, it's okay. We're not meeting with anyone. This is what they said. This is what they're doing. So to me, as an all-in, I mean, Brodus is expressing it just for those in the back that still think we're going all in. This ain't no all-in. This an all-in from their perspective, but that's like saying to a crazy person, you know, what day is it?
I was going to say, who was it during last night's stream that said the last time Jerry went all in, you know, that's why he's getting his paternity suit filed against him. So
I remember someone said it.
You know, a truer statement has not been spoken. Just throwing that out there. Oh, man. Exactly. Mike Aldana said, all in on our own guys. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. If you take this information, we're not going all in on our own guys. We're basically telling them to line up and wait their turn like everybody else. Right, Dak?
Well, I guess, yeah.
Just saying.
I mean...
It seems like the opposite of what they're saying, unless, like I said, their intention is to leave their options open to jump ship from, I know you weren't here necessarily, but long story short, I just said it. Whether we like it or not, if the Cowboys do plan on moving on from Dak, this is their only chance to jump ship in a way that causes them as little pain as possible. That still doesn't mean you're not going to be throwing bucket loads of dead money at a guy who's not going to play for you if you choose to move on from Dak. Like, there's no way around that.
Yeah, no, we're going to get hit with that whether it's now or later.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when you choose to rip that Band-Aid off, but at least it's much easier and makes more sense to do it beginning, like, as of, you know, past the 2024 season, right? Like, that's the thing. It's one of the only reasons I can think of that, again, they're sitting to choose and sit on their hands and not do shit.
Well,
sorry.
we've clowned it up enough here when it comes to the way they handle the business. Let's move to the combine and finish up strong, all right? Because we know the Cowboys do that shit the best pretty much across the board. When you look at the draft, you see that the Mel Kiper Jr., you know, one of his mock drafts, so we're still a ways away, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But Mel Kiper Jr. has the Cowboys going with an offensive lineman, Amarius Mims, going into the Cowboys at 24 in 2024 in this draft. And to him, he says it makes a lot of sense. Basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, you know, he's had fewer college starts than Tyler Guyton. Was limited to 8 games over the last 3 years because of injuries. Already, I'm saying fuck no. But the point is, you know, some of these draft picks right now in front of him on the bull, they're now behind him on the depth chart. So when he did play, he made defenders look silly. He's 6'7", 340 pounds, allowed 0 sacks in his career, and allowed 5 total pressures across 372 career pass blocking sessions. But the point is, that's not that much. He's been injured more than playing. So again, Mel Kiper said, well, teams, he's a dominating player when he's in there. Yeah. It sounds like Tyron Smith, but except the rookie. So again,
he's got to, be out there and physically available to be out there.
So then Mel Kiper says, will teams be scared off by his, limited experience and injury issues, or will they draft him high based on his size and potential? He says he leans they will draft because of his potential. Why? Because he's that good when he's on the field. But this is just Mel Kiper, and I disagree. But he did say the Cowboys could draft Mims to take over for Tyron Smith. We know this, right? But he also kind of mentioned the fact of Terrence Steele, another possible, maybe replaceable player in the near future, and bring him in there kind of pushing Steele, who struggled last year. This guy here, Mims, can play left or right side, so he can play all over the place. That's the key with him. But I'm just telling you what Mel Kiper said there. Now, as far as the combine today, all right, like I said, the defensive players, the defensive tackles and defensive tackles and edge rushers and linebackers, they all finished up their on-the-field drills today, all right?
Okay.
They had some cone drills. They had their 40-yard dash. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the tight ends on offense is one of the first offensive players on the field on the actual kind of interview sessions. Let's say first appearance by the offensive team, offensive players or positions. Tight ends went out there today, not on the field, but answering questions, doing some measurements and stuff. So they were out there talking today to the media, and so were the defensive backs. So you got the cornerbacks and safeties. They were talking to the media. They were doing what the defensive players, the linebackers and tackles and edge rushers were doing yesterday. All right, today, doing on the field kind of stuff. Tomorrow is going to be the defensive backs and tight ends also on that field doing the drills. So, and we'll have a new crop of guys talking to the media. I think it's quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers after that. Either way, though, when it comes to the defensive backs and tight ends, Cowboys have no meeting scheduled. So I always like to mention a couple guys that we don't have meetings with. And there's a guy who's very highly considered in the first round, the cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, and the other Alabama cornerback, Terrion Arnold. The Cowboys have no meetings planned with either guy this week. So now,
not so surprising.
Yeah,
all things considered.
Yeah. I mean, Diggs came from there.
Yeah,
but
it's more the fact that again we have Diggs.
Right.
We have Bland. We have a few other options. I'm just saying, like,
now
makes sense. Got it.
So again, the prospect names the Cowboys did look into. All right. Mm-hmm. And again, we're talking about the next group here, the defensive backs and tight ends. There was 4 boundary cornerbacks, meaning on the outside, not DaRon Bland slot. That's why we're going to move. DaRon Bland's going to go back to the slot because the Cowboys are really targeting on the outside boundary cornerbacks. 4 guys had formal interviews from the boundary side of things. And then a lot of informal, meetings with tight ends. No formals with them. The notable, I guess, informal was Brock Bowers, which is one of the top-ranked tight ends. But, again, that'd be something, huh? Mm-hmm. You got Ferguson, Schoonmaker, and you can get Brock Bowers at 24. So, I'm just saying the Cowboys right now, again, kind of looking at some. So again, what are these names? I'm going to say them for you guys. The informal tight ends that were spoken with, basically to a drill. Like Linda Wells was doing tight end drills today. So not today, but he's doing tight end stuff. He's probably tomorrow. He's going to do the drills. Linda Wells. He'll be talking with every one of these guys. So it's really all informals. But tight ends: Brock Bowers from Georgia, Trey Knox from South Carolina, Devin Culp from Washington, A.J. Barner from Michigan, Dalian Halker from Colorado State, Brevin Spanford from Minnesota, Jared Wiley from TCU, Tip Ryman from Illinois. Keep that name in mind. Okay. Tip Ryman. Tanner McLachlan from Arizona, and Ben Sinnott from Kansas State. All these guys, the Cowboys had informal meetings with today, which
I was just about to ask you if you maybe had a favorite from that list. I'm guessing a Tip.
No, well, it's for a non-football reason. I'll explain in a minute. Okay. You don't know about this. I say this.
Yeah, that's again. Yeah. Especially when it comes to some of these draft names, like you're the one telling me.
Tip Ryman, I think Ryman is his name. They just had that German last name. So Tip Ryman from Illinois, tight end. All these guys we had informal, which basically we just said, "Hey, how you doing today?" And that's an informal meeting. So now, what about defensive backs, corners, and safeties? Informal, discussions. Chris Abrams-Drain, cornerback from Missouri. DJ James, cornerback from Auburn. Tarheeb Still, cornerback from Maryland. Evan Williams, safety from North Carolina. He's a safety and a nickel cornerback from Oregon. So there's one nickel there. And then Andrew Phillips, cornerback, who is a nickel cornerback as well from Kentucky. Elijah Jones, cornerback from Boston College. And Johnny Dixon, cornerback from Penn State. Now, these are all the guys that had informal interviews, which, again, it's like, hey, how you doing? They could have asked them a little more, but it's not in a sitting conference room setting, which they really dig a little deeper there when you get to the formal meetings. So the only formal, again, yesterday we had a lot of formal meetings with nose tackles, defensive tackles, interior, and linebackers. No edge rushers. No formal meetings with those guys. So you see where we're heading with those groups. And we had a lot of them, right? We had like 12. You only get a total of like 40. Today, we only used 4 guys. 4 guys for formal interviews. And the whole new group of guys, tight ends and defensive backs, meaning corners, safeties, and then, of course, the tight ends. So the formal interviews, Kalian Carson, cornerback from Wake Forest, again, a border, an edge, kind of, an outside cornerback. TJ Tampa, cornerback from Iowa State. Kamari Lassiter, cornerback from Georgia. And Nate Wiggins, cornerback from Clemson. Again, all four guys are boundary corners. They're outside cornerbacks. None of these guys play nickel. So if you guys are wondering what's going to happen, the Cowboys are looking to try to fill in, whether not even as a starter, more as a backup, but they're not looking for a nickel cornerback they're focusing on the outside, which means, Gilmore might be here one more year, but the guy we draft now might be a second round or third round guy.
Okay.
They will be taking over for Gilmore when he leaves after, let's say, or whoever we put in there for a 1 year kind of situation.
Which, honestly, if anything, this type of lineup does make a case for, like you said, Gilmore coming back for that, like, one more gap year type of situation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That would be, I don't want my first round pick doing that.
No.
But a second and third round guy, not bad there. So, that's the Cowboy centric side of things. The one guy I do want to talk about, though, baby, is a guy that it's one of my, again, we talked about him yesterday in these same settings. Tomorrow, these guys I just discussed now will be on the field doing drills. So we'll hear more about that. As new guys come up, I'll tell you who the Cowboys spoke to. Mm-hmm. But one of the guys that the Cowboys spoke to at the defensive tackle spot is Texas Longhorn standout defensive tackle, nose tackle, T'Vondre Sweat. This guy, everyone was looking to see what he was going to do today. And look, a little underwhelming, but that's okay because he's a freaking big guy who's not supposed to be extremely athletic. Although to me, he plays a little offense sometimes. Catches a touchdown, I think he did. So he's pretty athletic for a guy with 366 pounds. That's the big thing, though, guys. He did not.
I guess athleticism is definitely relative in this case.
Well, he did not. For a 366-pound guy, he is extremely athletic.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But the athletic numbers won't show up for him on that. So, again, he did not weigh in when he went to the Senior Bowl. People thought he was going to be too big. He was going to be 380. Some people thought he would be up to 380 pounds. But when he weighed in today, 366 pounds. 1 pound heavier than his college playing weight. So basically, that's exact or in the same region of what he played in college as.
So is that like a good thing or
that's
a bad
a great
thing?
thing.
That's a good thing, right?
It's a good thing that he's not heavier, which was the thought. And heavier than 360 is crazy, right? So, again, that's really good news for one of the draft's top interior defensive tackles. And I watched his entire combine today, guys. So you can see the difference between him and other guys his size. He is much more athletic than, I'm saying, for a guy his size, you can see the athleticism. Now, the numbers compared to everybody else there, not that great. But he just looks smoother in some ways. He just looks better. Him and his partner there from Texas inside, both these guys are going to be dominating players in the NFL. So, again, the weight stuff is good for him. But the important thing about this, the crazy thing, is that this ties for the 11th heaviest player to ever enter the NFL Combine. Since they've been doing this thing, the tracking this stuff since 1999. So the 11th highest player in the last 25 years to do the Combine. And he's the heaviest player to check in the Combine since 2013. So big, huge man.
Like I said, the 360... You said 300. Hey, you know what?
That's how many days of the year.
Yep.
A lot of people were making that joke. It's leap year. That's why he hit the extra pound. Because usually he's 365. So he's 366. Again, when he was asked yesterday, he was asked, what weight do you feel comfortable playing at? And he said, what I am now. And it's basically what he was on his college game weight. So it's 100% accurate. Now, when he ran today, when he ran his 40... he ran it like 5.7. I don't know what it was. But all the athletic numbers came in, and he was an unofficial 3.9 in the RAS, the relative athletic score, out of a possible 10. This ranked him 989th out of 1,620 defensive tackles from the span of them doing this from 87 to this point now, to 1987 to now. So we all knew that, T'Vondre Sweat was going to probably not test well on the athletic numbers.
Yeah.
Everyone was hoping for better numbers in this. He still looked pretty smooth to me, I will say. But he's not Dontari Poe. Don't think he's going to be Dontari Poe getting moved backwards. This man don't move backwards, guys. They just wanted him to have, they would hope that he would have a little bit better numbers athletically. He's not Dontari Poe. He's not Tyler Shelvin. He's not these kind of scrubs where they were just getting shoved around. He is damn good, but just the athletic numbers are a little bit disappointing. So another couple,
which is fine, but maybe again from a Cowboy perspective, maybe that's a good thing. They can,
maybe he drops a little bit.
Spot.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point. Maybe the second round can be something the Cowboys can focus on. Let's say when it comes to T'Vondre Sweat in a realistic way. Hey, third round, he ain't gonna get there. Now let me go to another guy real quick here. A guy that we're not gonna go after, but I found it interesting. Some reporters, or a reporter specifically from the DallasCowboys.com, interesting comments about this guy named Miles Cole. He's an edge rusher. in this draft. He scored a 9.89 on the relative athletic score, which puts him 19th in the history of this thing from 87 to 2024. 19th out of 1,637 players at the edge. But, so again, his number's great for this combine.
Okay.
I don't know much about Miles Cole, but according to a couple people out there, they're saying he's the rudest person, the rudest prospect out of everybody out there that's come through the media availabilities and stuff like this. The reason that Nick from DallasCowboys.com said that he refused to answer any questions and declined advice when a combine official came up to him about it. And the guy said he'd never really seen anything like this kind of behavior at a combine. So, but then he also said, the reporter, I forgot his last name, Nick at Night. What's his name? I
almost said Nick Sirianni.
No, from the Cowboys.com. I forgot his name. But anyways, the point is that he said he had multiple conversations with people that he knows that when at Texas Tech where Miles Cole, Nick Harris, he spoke with people that he knows from Texas Tech that where Miles Cole is from, and his hometown also of Shreveport, Louisiana. That said, basically, he's he was not himself in that moment. It was not the real version of him. So he's a much nicer guy, and he wanted to say he didn't want to ruin his chances. But again, that's kind of the word out there.
It is really hard when you make a bad first impression. But that is one heck of a bad first impression to make. Just saying, to get a reputation as a guy who can't take feedback basically is advertising he's uncoachable, and on top of that is a grade A asshole. Yeah, if you're an asshole, you better be really talented and you better be coachable. You can't you got to pick a struggle. So I guess for his sake, I hope he can maybe show some of the better sides of him, I guess. That's literally it.
No, I don't know if anybody had any other little comments in there about any of these kind of little laughing things here.
That's Modi said bull tits. Oh, he also said, I'm sick of missing on these damn draft picks. Pioneer throwing out there, we need a hog to clog the one gaps. Mike Aldana saying, maintain the weight and give me passion and his motor on the D-line. Sweat.
Yeah, I mean, a second rounder is what I'm looking at for him, Second round target to me.
So, let me kind of roll it back here. By the way, Sledhead50 said, I'm telling you boys, secondary needs to get much better to hang with the Pack or the Niners.
And I think we're going to look at secondary as well, whether it is getting Trayvon Diggs back, but how's that ACL? Putting Bland back at nickel corner where he just needs to go. And, who do we get to get that outside corner? I don't know about drafting someone to start, but I think that you get a veteran in there. That's going to be a one-year deal, I think, on the horizon for the Cowboys, in my opinion.
By the way, Dustin Roberts saying, we need to trade back and pick up more picks so that we can fill some more of those holes.
I don't mind that, and I know that's a Jerry Jones thing. So if our guy's not there, trade back. Please, trade back. Now, guys, I do want to say, before we hear from Will McClay, let me say one last little piece of this combine, which I think is extremely interesting. I also held back on this from you, baby, because I thought there was, again, I have a problem with flat earthers. And there's a guy in here, plays for Texas Tech. His name is, he's a defensive back.
You're almost implying I don't have a problem
No. I'm saying Taylor Owens from Texas Tech.
Okay.
Defensive back. He doesn't believe in outer space, and he doesn't believe in other planets. He also talked about flat Earth being kind of real thing and other crazy, just crazy shit. That's just crazy, guy. No other planets? There's a lot. We know there's other planets. He believes it's all fake, I guess, around it. It's the Matrix. I don't know. But the point is that he believes this. So, again, he said that, he said, quote, not quote, I'm paraphrasing. He said that flat Earth theorists make some very valid points. Yeah. So
I wish I could roll him off the edge of the earth.
I wanted to check back 3 times, make sure that Taylor Owens, luckily somebody we're not interested in, and I'm good with that. But you know what's funny? That remember, I go back. I'm going to circle back to Tip Ryman, from Iowa, or I'm sorry, from Illinois. Illinois tight end Tip Ryman. He today, after hearing about this, he posted on Twitter.
Okay.
Quote. No, he said that Owen Reese, who reported on this, said Illinois tight end Tip Ryman is a firm member of the quote birds aren't real movement. He said, quote, and this is a quote from him from Tip Ryman. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? How do we know that power lines aren't pigeon recharging stations?
Okay.
So the whole reasoning for this is to troll Tyler Owens, baby. He's purposely trolling Tyler Owens.
The problem is that we're genuinely living in an age where I'm like, this man.
This is possible. This could be possible.
Because I remember, like, you know, in the early days of internet memes and stuff like that, the whole birds aren't real meme going around. So that's why for a second I'm like, am I being trolled here? We all are. That's the point. It just, the problem with making certain jokes is that if you play them a little too straight,
they might believe you.
Some people really start believing you. So to clarify for anybody in the chat, Texas Tech defensive back Taylor Owens does not believe in outer space.
Or planets.
Or other planets.
Like, not planets like with life on them, but like Mars.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just
shit we can see.
General,
shit we can see. You get a telescope from Walmart, you can find Mars. Right?
And that apparently flat earthers make some good points.
Yeah. But the tight end from Illinois came back, Tip Ryman, and said as a joke, you know, he's part of the birds aren't real movement.
Birds.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? How do we know that power lines aren't pigeon recharging stations? And, you know, kind of side trolling Texas Tech DB Taylor Owens. I love it. No, we should not draft a tight end. Maybe undrafted Tip Ryman. Let's bring him on because he's a smarter guy there. I don't want to see Taylor Owens anywhere near our team. So, anyways, guys, now we're done with that. Let's finish up with we're going to talk about finishing up here draft talk with Will McClay, who was at the Combine, as we know.
And believes in planets, as far as we know.
Yes, a very intelligent man, believes in planets. And doesn't believe that, you know, birds, the power lines are charging stations for pigeons. So, McClay, guys, he is looking right now at I'm going to say a couple of things. He's going to talk about Zimmer and the draft strategy with the new coordinator on defense. Mm-hmm. They're going to talk about who we're going to draft. No, Zimmer, I mean, he's going to hear some comments from Will McClay who they're looking at. Big guys in the middle of defense, like Devondre Sweat. The linebacker, addressing that in the draft and in free agency, according to Will McClay. And also, you know, talking about running backs and what they're going to do with that. So I got a couple of notes about this. I heard the full interview. I know you got the major quotes, baby. So what did Will McClay say today at the scouting combine? This is not just about rookies or draft. This is about free agent plans going forward. What positions are the Cowboys internally looking at and looking for? Let's hear what Will McClay had to say, baby.
It's sun up to sundown with interviews. And then getting to see these guys run around. It is a big week and it's been fun. I wish there was more time, but we got to get it done now. They do a great job of setting up the interviews and the timing. It's just a little bit more than what we're used to.
The Cowboys right now are doing formal interviews, informal interviews. We discussed this with prospects.
Yeah, we're knee deep in interviews.
Exactly.
Guys.
So he said that's an important. Even though the Joneses don't believe in like discussing shit with agents, as far as scouting and getting these guys kind of graded for their draft for McClay.
And at least McClay considers this whole combine process a big part of like their internal process. Adding in there, it's big for us because we spend so much time gathering information and asking people about them. Now we get to put our own inferences on them and sit down with them. Our coaches are here, and we get to figure out which guys may be able to fit from a personality standpoint, work ethic, and all of that.
Yeah, so, I mean, think about where he just said coaches, but McCarthy and new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer are back in Dallas at the Star, constructing the new look defense, and they will be in video calls and all the formal interviews.
Okay.
For Zimmer, his personal vision is showing up in the scouting process for Will McClay and Will McClay's staff, Chris Hall and the rest of the guys.
Like basically
and the scouts.
Being there to help assist and like be very clear on what it is he's looking for.
He wants Zimmer. Zimmer right now is getting the information about what kind of guy Mr. Mike Zimmer wants for the defense. Kind of guy. What'd he say? What did McClay say about Zimmer's guys?
You don't let my joke there?
Yes.
Anyway, McClay said, quote, "As we begin this process, it's a little different scheme. We're looking for big athletic football players. Finding guys that have those little nuances that Zimmer has. It's been great for us to spend time with the coaches and hear them talk to the players and communicate so we can get a better feel for what it is as well. I think we're probably going to look to more so at those bigger bodies at the inside and stopping that. We're always looking at linebackers. that's a position that in free agency and in the draft we're going to have a look at because we want to add more players there. So Will McClay is definitely a little bit more forthcoming as far as our possible plans, but also, again, nothing surprising. I guess the most surprising part is that he confirmed what we all hoped, that the Cowboys attack at least the linebacker position from multiple angles. Everything else...
But you know what scares me about that? That we'll bring in another Rashaan Evans or two, but not bring in the real deal Bobby Wagner. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my fear. Yeah, they'll get... And it's not McClay's fault. It's the allowance from...
Hey, if it's
from whatever Stephen Jones allows.
The draft and free agency.
Yeah, we'll get a 7th-round linebacker, and we'll get Rashaan Evans. There you go. I mean, he ain't lying.
I know,
but he didn't say
lies detected.
So again, what about the offensive side of the ball? Right, figuring out how to improve the running game is an off-season focus for the Cowboys. So we got to get better running the ball. Right. A lot of that's the running back. A lot of that's the offensive line. So McClay and his scouting department are now honing in on what they're looking for when it comes for this draft class. What do you say about this?
Number one, they've got to be able to run the football. And then it's how well they pick up things. We're looking at it from a measurement standpoint and the different types of backs there are. And then, do they fit into our system? That's vitally important. But even more important is the guys that open up those holes.
He's talking O-line right there, right? So it's almost... yeah, I know. But to me, it's like I'm thinking, man, he's saying running back, but we're not going to go early with a running back. I think it's about going offensive line here very early as well. Very possible for the Cowboys.
We're talking about the guy who opens up the holes, right? Yeah. McClay said we want to figure out who the guy is. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I wanted to say that because when we talk about who that guy is, what are they talking about, right? So again, evaluating the character, again, all the people in person, interviews, the skill set that each prospect have, and kind of fill it up on their draft board the way that McClay likes to kind of find his guys for McClay. Now we're talking about in the draft. So we heard them behind the scenes with Bergeron versus Mozzie Smith. And then with Mozzie Smith, and that was Will McClay pushing that one. So we'll go hold you to that one, Mr. Will McClay. But, that's how they found their guy. What is the system for them?
We want to figure out who the guy is. We want to bring them in, ask them about the stuff that they do, see if they can learn our stuff in those short instances, and really find out what they're all about. There are some guys that come into the room, and you can tell right away that there's that dynamic personality. It's just getting to know the players that's the coolest part about this.
Well, there you go. The nice talk there from Mr. Will McClay. So when you look at this and you kind of wrap it up, wrap up the show tonight. We're done here, but let's finish talking about McClay for a moment. He basically broke down a couple things: this draft strategy, bigger guys in the interior defensive line through the Zimmer style of things and with the scheme of Zimmer, what he kind of looks for, personality, whatever it may be. A big guy at the middle of the defensive line. So that could be draft. That could be maybe later in the draft. There's a couple guys that could probably be good in this draft. You get them in the 5th round or 4th round or something like this. Not just the top guys, but another option for the Cowboys there if they find something they like. And, of course, the linebacker stuff. When it comes to Zimmer's defense and what the plan is going forward, it's a linebacker in the draft, a linebacker in free agency. Now, the quality of those guys, well, we don't know. But the last part of this, when it comes to the offense, is the running backs. And, you kind of spoke about the running backs, but it's about the different sizes of running backs now. See, we talked about Henry and Rico Dowdle. That's a good 1-2 punch. Or if you're going to use Pollard as a number 2, you could get Henry in there. I'm just saying there's a couple different options I was just trying to say that you can use when it comes to the way the running back is built and what their skill sets are. And now they're going to look at the running back skill set rather than taking Deuce Vaughn in the 6th round. So he said they're looking at different sizes of running backs, how they fit into the offensive system. And I'm going to repeat what you had said about him. He said, quote, that's vitally important. But even more important is the guys that open up those holes. Giggity.com. And that means offensive linemen, too. So how do you help the running backs? Whoever you put at the running back spot, free agent, cheap guy, whoever it may be, a cheap running back, let's say, Cam Akers or something. It's about the offensive line, according to Will McClay. So that directs me. If you want to help the running game, you got to get better run blocking on offense. Maybe that means a better center. I'm just being real. Just reading between the lines, family. Reading what McClay is given. So on that note, my love, that is all I have from this from tonight's news, info, and updates. Do you have anything to add on any of this stuff? Will McClay's comments, thoughts, or ideas or opinions?
I only have one thing to add.
Add it up, baby. Let me know.
Everybody take a second to hit like, subscribe,
that was easy.
Hit that notification bell. Oh, I was wondering if you were going to catch on that, or catch that. But yes, guys, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. Have to give an extra special shout out to the man showing the love, McLovin, the sponsor of the week, back-to-back 90s Cowboy style, and of course representing it as the Cash App King 3 weeks in a row. Ooh. Thank you so much, McLovin. Also, shout out to the man Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, still holding it down in the stream boss with 64 points. Yeah. And one of the people who did show the love tonight, along with Mr. Skeptical Fan, I believe.
Yes, in the Cash App. Much love to you guys. And don't forget, the king of the membership gifting board, it is Mr. Skeptical Fan coming back and breaking a tie and winning yesterday, taking over. He is the champion, and he's trying to go back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys, because he's got 4 this week, 4 gifted memberships. Much love to Skeptical Fan, as he's in the lead there. But the rest of the board, it's still McLovin style, because he's leading. McLovin is leading the Cash App, and he's leading the overall board right now. So McLovin's tuning in there for a three-peat on the sponsor of the week, and an entire month of domination of the Cash App King. We shall see what happens. But Sunday we decide, and we also on Sunday are doing a raffle for those in the Star and Over Everything level membership. So much love to him. And again, in the future, next month's raffle, the winners of the sponsor of the week and these board winners will be also getting a membership, a raffle entry for this very elite Star and Over Everything. And these are only guys that are getting those entries for this. There's only a very small few here, but you can get in the mix there if you are one of the board winners here. So appreciate you guys. That starts next week, and that starts for next month. So just keep that in mind. We will be doing this raffle going down probably no later than Sunday. Obviously, no later than Sunday. I'm just going to let you know of this week. But on that note, guys, that is it here, baby. Let's do them. I guess I do want to hear the last couple of comments from the chat.
Yeah, of course.
As you shout everybody
we'll
out.
Do final comments and shout outs here.
Combo it up for us.
So Chuck to Montana 808 cracking me up. He said, replying to Bad Intentions, we get it. You don't know anything about how the league or football works. Bad Intentions said, Patrick Mahomes came into the league after Prescott, and he has more Super Bowl rings than Prescott has playoff wins. Yeah, that's not the way it works, just by saying it like that. But anyways, to let you know. You can't help the ones that can't be helped. Much love to you, Mike. Sledhead 50 saying AJ Dillon would be a nice fit in Dallas.
I had him on my list. Zach Moss, a couple other guys, if you don't want to go with the name guys, Matt Batten
said, I'm fine. Just draft some O-line, needs work, and he's right.
Yep, McClay's.
Pioneer with, again, some of the spiciest takes of the night, saying, McClay should be fired, and we all know it.
I'm not.
McClay should be promoted and allowed to just...
He's kept this team on, he's kept the team from being 4 and 12 and 13 the last bunch of years.
But I also admit that's just our personal thoughts and opinions, right?
He's fucked up. He's fucked up too sometimes.
Asmodeus in the house. Much love to you, of course.
Asmodeus.
Matt Batten, take it easy. Have a great night.
Much love.
Brandon J, much love to you. Dustin Roberts. Yeah, he said we need to trade back and pick up more picks. I mentioned that one.
I'm down with that.
Hicks Investments, thanks for being here. He said, I know Jerry desperately wants to win a Super Bowl. Pride and ego drive him. Again, his desire to win a Super Bowl has never been in question. It's his methodology to getting there.
Yeah.
And his lack of accepting that he might be part of the problem.
The foundational part of the problem.
So, Bruce got the toxic juice saying all in had like a 1 month buzzword run.
I know.
We're all in, now we're all out.
We all know now, that it was always bullshit, and we kind of assumed it. We wanted to see it, and they're showing us they ain't doing it all
now
in.
Now it's clear.
Yeah.
Anyway, Seabass here in the house as well. Much love. Rolando Rodriguez representing. No Face Thriller, thanks for being here. Jay Duncan in the house, of course. Demetrius Alexander repping it here too. Let's see, Pioneer, much love, just in case. I think I shouted you out, but just in case. Raul representing. Even you, Swertin. Trying to go back. That's actually about as far back as it's letting me go, at least on my side. So I stick Aguilar 04. Take it easy. Reminding us all, AJ Dillon's unfortunately injury prone and not a number one back. So
that's why I think with any running back we're going to get, it's going to be a 1-2 punch. Remember that. AJ Dillon with, Tony Pollard could maybe work, I guess. I'm just trying to think of an example. You know, but I'm just saying, like, that's kind of like what the Cowboys would probably try to do. You don't want A.J. Dillon and then also Derrick Henry, because now you're getting too much of one thing now. You know, you need to get a guy, maybe a scat back, quicker guy that's proven, you know, that can do it, that we know it can do it. And there's a couple guys on our lists that are more than affordable and can do it on both sides, on the running, you know, the workhorse kind of guy like a Derrick Henry, but also, of course, a scat back guys out there. You get a DeAndre Swift for cheap. Just saying. It's a couple guys you can get out there that are, you know, very affordable if you want to go with you know, make your number one guy the quicker scat back type of guy. And you can get a bulldozer like A.J. Dillon to kind of pull up the RB2 role, right? But just balance it a little bit better than you balanced Zeke getting 80%, 90% of the carries and Pollard getting 10 or 20% at most. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, much love to you. One of the few drops tonight, and it's been two out of the three has been by the man, DB, the top dog, as he adds to his, stream boss up there, 68 points. And I'm pretty sure he also jumps up a spot or two. If I'll definitely get that fixed by tomorrow as we're wrapping up here.
Yes, since Dwayne has shown the love, you know what he had to say?
Hit me with it. I can't wait to hear. What did he say?
Good night, all. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Thank you, Dwayne. Perfect timing there. Because,
yes,
do you know why we do what we do here? Let me tell you why. It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Yeah. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly on this channel, at MCF here, with MCW, we always rep that star over everything. And right here, My Cowboys Family for 6.5, almost 7 years and beyond. On YouTube, on My Cowboys Family, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. You see my shirt. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Can't do this without you guys and the discussions you bring to the table. Going along with the news of the night, the day, whatever it may entail. Jerry Jones' paternity suit, or the scouting combine, or we're going to do a DAK, or yada, yada, yada. The coaching staff, the players, etc., the draft. It's been great. Thank you guys for dropping the knowledge. Appreciate those that dropped the love. Like you said, baby, tonight, Dwayne Broussard, skeptical fan, doing the damage. Appreciate you guys, as always, repping that star over everything and the love here at the channel. And as we drop out and clock out for the night officially and relock and reload for another show, we'll see if it's tomorrow. We can make it finally to a Friday. We'll see. It might be a switcheroo. Maybe we'll do a Friday and then have to skip the Saturday. But either way, we'll be back repping that star over everything here. But before we can do all that and relock and reload, baby, before we can drop out of here from this show, tell everybody what we got to do before we get out of here for the night. Drop out of here.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped. It's a wrap here, My Cowboys Family. I appreciate everybody in the house who joined us here live, who's watching us on the replay. To, leave a comment down below as we wrap it up here for another show here on another MCF Cowboys chat. Yes, there's Devondre Sweat jumping into the Cowboys' arms. We'll see what happens. I don't say first round. I say second round. We discussed it. We discussed it all here about these guys who, Cowboys are obviously focusing on when it comes to interior defensive alignment, according to inside sources and Will McClay himself, right? DAX, and it's not necessarily a guaranteed extension yet. A restructure would open up some cash money, and you don't have to extend them. We can wait. But hey, we just talked about the pros and cons on that as well. We'll talk about it all here, some more, right here on MCF, on every night and beyond. Appreciate you all, guys. Remember, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here on this channel. The number one thing right here, the My Cowboys Family. Much love to all, everybody who joins us for these live streams. Don't forget to hit that like button for the stream, helping the analytics of this thing. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and keep growing the family here at MCF. And of course, last but never least, the notification bell. Put it on to all videos. You know when we're going live when you put it on all videos. Of course, you can also double check on when we go live and drop our videos through the social media side of things, X, Twitter, all that stuff, at My Cowboys Family. Join the Discord, on and on, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Stay safe, much love, peace, and never ever forget, go Cowboys!